Take a look around you. No, seriously, wherever you're at right now, take a hot second and just look around. Now think about the fact that no matter where you are, no matter what you're looking at or surrounded by right now, there's an overwhelmingly high percentage chance that much of it, if not all of it, spent some time being transported from one place to another on a truck. And that's exactly why trucking, and more specifically truck drivers, are so important. They're the lifeblood of our supply chain. But there's been a growing chorus of voices over the years saying we're in or headed for a very serious problem due to the lack of drivers. If we don't have the necessary drivers to keep those wheels turning, well, we're in some big, big trouble. So what do? What's the answer to this conundrum? Maybe it's time we expand the scope of who we're looking for and pursuing to drive those trucks. Hello everyone, and welcome back to another edition of the Recruiting Roundup. We're here every month to take a look at a new recruiting or talent acquisition topic. Now, if that sounds like something you'd be interested in and you haven't already, go ahead and subscribe to our channel so you never miss out on a new episode. Go ahead and like and share our YouTube video while you're at it too. And if today's episode just isn't enough for you, you can check out all of our previous Roundup shows on the YouTube Recruiting Roundup playlist or in the content section over at randallreilly.com. Now, let's get back into the topic at hand, the dwindling pool of drivers and how targeting overlooked groups could be the key to helping keep those trucks moving. First, let's touch on the driver shortage itself. For as long as I can remember, there have been calls saying we're currently in or headed straight for a major driver shortage. And the numbers are constantly shifting. There are new drivers entering the workforce as older veteran drivers retire every single year. There are normal ebbs and flows associated with seasonality, and the driver population can grow or shrink in response to just how well or poorly the overall economy is doing. Outside of those factors, there's also the constant battle of turnover. As it turns out, it's just not that easy to find, hire, and keep drivers. Trucking in general has always had a pretty high turnover rate when compared to other industries. In fact, according to ATRI, the industry-wide turnover was around 48% in 2024, and some data indicates that some fleets had turnover rates as high as 90%.
It's frightening. Wow.
And that is far above the turnover averages for other U.S. blue-collar jobs, which was around 15%. So fleets are constantly hiring and losing drivers. Could that be the cause of the so-called shortage? Do we really have the drivers we need, but they're just kind of shifting around? Well, the turnover rates certainly don't help fleets, but industry experts seem to agree it's more than just that. Back in 2011, it was estimated that trucking had a shortage of around 80,500 drivers. It's predicted that that number could reach 162,000 by 2030. That's a pretty sizable shortfall, and that brings us back to where we started. What can these fleets do to get the drivers they need? One surefire way to increase your chances of hiring more drivers is to widen the net, so to speak. Right now, the average American truck driver is a male in his 40s, with the overall average age being 46. The average age of a new driver entering the industry is 35, and the average target retirement age is 69. When you put all those things together, it's projected that we will need over 1 million new drivers, 1.2 million to be precise, over the next 10 years to replace the retiring drivers just to keep the industry moving. So overall, 100,000-foot view here, the typical driver is a dude in his 40s, with most new drivers coming into the industry being in their mid-30s, probably on their second or maybe even third career. If we're going to widen our range, we need to target outside of those parameters, which brings me to two major segments to look into. Number one, just younger people in general, and number two, women. And I know what you're saying. This isn't exactly breaking news. Go after younger people and women. Fleets try to do that all the time. I get it. However, I do think it's worth talking about, and hopefully we can touch on at least a few things to help improve on recruiting efforts towards those groups moving forward.
Believe it or not.
So let's start with our first group, women, because ladies first. Women represent just over 47% of the total U.S. workforce. However, they're hardly represented in the driver pool. The numbers vary a little depending on the source, but 2023 census data had them at around 4%, while some more recent figures are closer to the 6% mark. In any case, with that many women working and that few driving trucks, well, that means there's just a lot of room to grow and improve. And yes, it may take some time to really increase the female trucking footprint, but there are some things you can do to improve your chances. Feature women in your marketing materials and job posts. If you're using images and videos, well, make sure that you've got at least some materials featuring women. Highlight things women drivers value, like safe facilities, in your copy on those ads. It sends the signal that women are, of course, welcome. Use more gender-neutral language in those posts to avoid deterring women from the constant use of masculine identifiers. So far, that's all pretty easy, just tweaking some things here and there. You can also go over your company policies, truck features, and any security steps you've taken at your lots or facilities, because again, one of the top priorities for women, especially women drivers, is safety. Now, let's look at the younger generation. It's one thing to say, well, let's just target more youth. It's another to effectively pull that off. So first, let's start with the obvious. Go where they are. Platforms like Instagram and TikTok skew to younger audiences, so it's worth starting there.
How do you do, fellow kids?
You can mention the tech you have or the financial stability afforded by trucking to try and attract that younger crowd. But digging deeper into this particular segment, we come to a bit of a problem. Most fleets are looking for at least 1 or 2 years experience driving before they'll even consider a driver. And since drivers have to be at least 22 to have a CDL and cross state lines behind the wheel, that means that the youngest a potential driver can be before a fleet even gives them a chance is around 23 or 24. But many in that age range are already off trying their hands at other trades or careers. What could be helpful is trying to reach those 18 to 22-year-olds with messaging, talking up the benefits of trucking and starting to warm them up to the idea before they take that detour away from the industry. If you can generate interest in and help set them on the path towards becoming a driver, when they hit those milestones of crossing state lines and the minimum experience barriers that you may have in place, well, you may have the edge over the competition because you've been front and center all along. And that could help you land the youthful driver you're after. Basically, no matter what you're doing, there's more you could do. With the shortage and battle for drivers only looking to intensify from here, it could be time to broaden the scope of your efforts. And if you need to, connect with a partner that can help build and customize a strategic marketing plan that speaks directly to those two highly valuable and coveted audience segments. Women and the younger generation as a whole are both two largely untapped markets that could be the perfect solution to your recruiting problems. And if you think you need help reaching those two groups and you'd like to partner up, as I mentioned before, well, let us know. I've left a link for you down below. That's going to do it for us here on the Recruiting Roundup. But I'll be back next month with another recruiting or talent acquisition topic. Don't forget, you can check out all of our previous episodes. Again, those are over on our YouTube channel or on the Randall Reilly site in the content section. And if you find yourself watching this saying, yeah, that all sounds great, but how exactly do I get started or what do I do from here? Well, reach out and talk to us. We could be that partner to help develop that strategic marketing approach for you. I've got links for Contact Us and to learn more about our RPO approach included down below. If you need help, we can work with you to reach your recruiting goals. We look forward to hearing from you. Until next time, thanks for watching.